Hello everyone, I'm Patricia Muñoz Andrés and I'm a PhD candidate at the University of Salamanca. And today I'm going to discuss the intersections of ISO standards and cultural competence in translation, an essential topic for ensuring quality in cross-cultural communication. I'm going to start by pointing out something that comes without saying, really, but it is important regardless. Translation is much more than converting words between languages. It is a negotiation between cultures where cultural competence becomes crucial. Therefore, cultural competence ensures the translation respects the norms and values of the target audience. In this context, ISO standards such as the 17100 and 18587 play a key role in structuring this process, providing guidelines that improve both the linguistic accuracy and the cultural sensitivity. What do we talk about when we say cultural competence? It means understanding the cultural contexts within which translations occur. In specialized fields like healthcare, legal, or financial, which I will be talking about a little bit later, cultural understanding is even more critical. For example, in healthcare, a culturally competent translation can prevent misunderstandings that could affect patient care. Now, let's tackle the two ISO certifications I've mentioned previously. ISO 17100 specifically addresses translator qualifications, emphasizing both linguistic and cultural knowledge. This standard is essential for producing translations that not only convey the correct information, but also resonate culturally with the audience. For instance, translators under ISO 17100 must adopt idioms or cultural references to make sense in the target culture. And very important to highlight is that any company that works with translators that and they call themselves a company that is ISO 17100 certified will know that they have to be tested specifically in one of those segments from the test that has to be for cultural competence. So there has to be a cultural situation that needs to be translated into the target language. Now, what happens with machine translation? The one challenge is obviously its inability to capture cultural nuances. Therefore, this is where ISO 18587 comes in handy, as it establishes the process to properly take that post-editing of the machine translated output. This ensures that translations meet cultural expectations even when machine translation is involved, thus combining the efficiency of MT with human cultural insight. Now let's explore how ISO standards like the 17100 and 18587 foster cultural competence across various industries through real-world examples. Again, these standards ensure the translations are not only linguistically accurate but also culturally relevant, enhancing communication and preventing misunderstandings, which in the following three fields is crucial. In healthcare, a clear example is the Mayo Clinic, a multinational healthcare provider that adopted 17100 to address the needs of its diverse patient population. By ensuring translators were qualified and culturally knowledgeable, they minimized misinterpretations in crucial areas like medical instructions and consent forms. For instance, by adapting healthcare instructions to match cultural beliefs and health practices, they improved patient satisfaction and adherence to treatments. Again, by tailoring health information to reflect the cultural backgrounds of various patients, they help them feel respected and understood. In the case of legal translations, Baker and McKenzie, for example, are known for improving the quality of its legal translations by requiring translators with legal expertise and cultural competence. This is essential when you're dealing with cross-border cases, right? So translating contracts and other legal documents for global clients requires an understanding of not just the language, but the legal and the cultural context. By following this standard, this firm could ensure that each legal translation was both precise and culturally appropriate, avoiding any potential legal misunderstandings. Another clear example is the European Court of Justice, which also benefits from use of culturally aware translators, ensuring that translations convey the legal intent accurately across different languages and jurisdictions. And last but not least, in the financial industry, we have HSBC as an example of a financial institution that's been successful with culturally aware marketing strategies, customizing messages to align with local customs and values. Again, each of these case studies highlights the crucial role of ISO standards in helping organizations provide culturally competent translations. By ensuring that translators meet specific qualifications and follow standardized practices, these organizations avoid costly miscommunications and build stronger relationships with their global audiences. Well, despite the clear benefits, integrating cultural competence into translation is a complex process. As we saw, it includes getting certified, making sure that we follow the process, and on top of this, the fact that cultural nuances vary widely, even within the same language, gives it an additional level of challenge. In the case of Spanish, for example, and its multiple varieties, again, the cultural audiences widely differ from each other. So you cannot use the same Spanish team to translate if your target audience is going to be in Latin America as opposed to Spain, for example. Let alone within Latin America, the differences between the different countries as well. However, what is clear is that for organizations, this investment enhances client satisfaction and it gives these companies a competitive edge in the market. In conclusion, ISO standards provide a framework for cultural competence in translation, ensuring translations are both accurate and culturally relevant. As globalization continues, the need for cultural competence will only grow. By adhering to ISO standards, translation professionals can deliver high-quality, culturally attuned translations that bridge linguistic and cultural divides. So I cannot stress enough how important it is that we take into account the certifications in order to ensure that this cultural competence is there in our translations. Thank you so much for listening to this presentation. And if you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them.